Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another book review to share with you. I have to just say 2021 is looking like the year of me just eating up all the books that I can get my hands on. And so without further ado, let's talk about the book that I have today. It's called The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare. Oh boy, this book is a big shift from the normal books that I read, which is fantasy, young adult lit, or graphic novels. This is very much a adult fiction, realistic fictional book, and it is fascinating. I will say this was a challenging book for a few different reasons, so let's go ahead and just talk about what the premise of the book is. Essentially, we have a central character who is named Adunni, who is a 14-year-old Nigerian girl, and she is going through a number of trials and tribulations, one of them being that her mother had recently passed, and her mother was the main source of income in her family. So she is struggling to figure out how she can still be able to go to school, afford to go to school, while also still have a roof over her head. She has a father and two other brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. She's the middle child, and they're all sort of grappling with what do they do with this position. Unfortunately, as is the case with far too many young Nigerian girls, she is seen by her father as a means of income, and her father knows that he can get a price for her if he sells her off as a bride, and he ultimately does decide to do that, which sets her down a path that Adunni doesn't really want to be a part of. She doesn't want to have to get married at this point in her life, especially as a forced arranged marriage to a man who is in his nearly 60s and she's only 14. Technically, that is illegal in Nigeria, but that law is not upheld as well as it could be. And she also desperately wants to finish getting an education. She's only a somewhat literate person, and so she knows that she still has more education to gain, and that her education is the key to allowing her to be more in control of her life. She has high ambitions for herself. She desperately wants to eventually become a school teacher, but she knows she can only do that if she can get an education, and being forced to get married to this much older man will completely derail any ability she has for that. So the focus of the whole novel is just her journey of trying to accomplish her goal. I definitely don't want to spoil anything about how the book ends or how her journey unfolds, so I will leave it at that, but I will definitely say that this book is challenging for a number of reasons. It's challenging as a woman reading this book, just seeing how in the modern world there are still so many young women and women alike in so many places that are still oppressed, that are treated like secondary citizens simply because they are a woman, and that they're viewed more as a prize to be sold than they are as a human being. That's really tough. It's really tough to see, someone who has ambitions, but life continues to beat them down no matter how well-intended or how good-natured a person is. That's really hard to witness. And the other element that makes the book really challenging is that the author, Abby Dare, chose to write the book to mimic the dialogue of the main character. So because Adunni is semi-illiterate, the way the book is written is semi-illiterate, and that took a really long learning curve for me to adjust to, especially as an English teacher. It's really hard for me, and I kept at first auto-correcting it in my mind, which was slowing me down, and then I had to sort of just accept the book the way it is and ingest it the way it is, and that was really difficult. And at times I didn't always understand her at first, but I did eventually get my feet under me and was able to fully understand the story. I will give you an excerpt of this so you can kind of get a feel of what I'm talking about. So I'm on the very first page. I'll just read the first couple of passages. It says, "This morning, Papa called me inside the parlor. He was sitting inside the sofa with no cushion and looking me. Papa have this way of looking me one kind, as if he wants to be flogging me for no reason, as if I am carrying shit inside my cheeks, and when I open mouth talk, the whole place be smelling of it. Sa, I say, kneeling down and putting my hand in my back, you call me? Come close, Papa say. I know he want to tell me something bad. I can see it inside his eyes. His eyes balls have the dull of a brown stone that been sitting inside hot sun for too long. He have the same eyes when he was telling me 3 years ago that I must stop my educations. That time I was the most old of all in my class, and all the childrens was always calling me auntie. I tell you true, the day I stopped school and the day my mama was dead is the worst day of my life." Yeah, it's like hard to read it out loud too because I know grammatically it's not correct, but those choices as an author, those intentional choices really help immerse you in the struggle and in the world of a dunny. You know, I recognize that I have lived a very privileged life, and so to be able to understand her struggle, you really have to be immersed in it, and I feel like the author does an exceptional job of doing that. It was just incredibly well written. It felt so real and raw and intense, and I kept wanting to read it. Like once I got halfway through, all I wanted to do was keep churning through it. I had to keep telling myself like, no, you need to like go hang out with Ben, or you need to like grade for school. I had to really tear myself away. I just think it was so exceptional, and I think it brings light to a really rampant problem that really shouldn't exist in 2021 but still does. And I think the authentic voice and raising up those authentic voices is incredibly important. So I really recommend this book. I think if you're someone who's looking for adult, very realistic fiction, you're looking to be challenged in a lot of different ways, this is a great book for that. It also is so captivating. It takes both the complications and the engagement level, like those are paired so well. I think this book is exceptional, and I am looking forward to following the future career of this author. This was her debut novel, and I mean, what a debut. This is just a phenomenal book to hit all shelves with, and I really look forward to seeing what else she produces. All right, guys, that is it for me. If you have read The Girl with the Louding Voice, I would love to know your thoughts on it, or if you have any recommendations similar to this book, please drop them down below in the comments, because I'm just a fiend this year. I have been exercising my rights at the library so aggressively, and I am always looking for more books to add to my to-be-read pile. Have a great day, and I hope to see you next Friday for another book review.